One of the first questions many new bladesmiths ask is simple. Can you make a knife from scrap metal? The short answer is yes, but it depends heavily on what kind of scrap you're using. Not all steel is suitable for knives. For a knife to hold an edge, the steel needs enough carbon. Carbon is what allows steel to harden during heat treatment. Without enough carbon, the blade will stay relatively soft no matter how you heat treat it. That means the edge will dull quickly. Unfortunately, many common pieces of scrap metal, like mild steel, contain very little carbon. They're great for structural uses, but not ideal for knives. However, some types of scrap can actually work very well. Leaf springs from vehicles are one popular example. These springs are designed to be tough and flexible, which often makes them suitable for blades. Old files are another common source. Many traditional files are made from high carbon steel that can produce excellent knives when heat treated properly. Some bladesmiths also use things like lawnmower blades, coil springs, or old saw blades. But there's always a challenge when working with scrap steel. You usually don't know the exact composition of the metal. That means the ideal heat treatment is often a bit of guesswork. Sometimes the steel will harden perfectly. Other times it won't harden much at all. And occasionally, the steel might crack during quenching. That uncertainty is part of the reason many bladesmiths eventually switch to known steels. Steels like 1084, 80 CRV2, or 5160 have well-documented heat treatment processes. When you follow those processes, you get much more consistent results. But scrap steel still has its place in bladesmithing. For beginners, it's an inexpensive way to practice forging techniques. You can experiment, make mistakes, and learn without worrying about wasting expensive materials. And a great blade can come out of scrap steel. There's something satisfying about taking an old, forgotten piece of metal and turning it into a useful tool. A worn-out spring or rusty file suddenly becomes a working knife again. In a way, that transformation captures one of the most appealing parts of bladesmithing, turning raw or even discarded steel into something functional. So yes, you absolutely can make a knife from scrap metal, but knowing which scrap to use makes all the difference. Because in bladesmithing, the journey from scrap to blade always starts with the steel itself. So, have you ever made a knife from scrap metal? Comment what it was and how well it turned out, or not so well. If you like this and want to see more, squash that subscribe button, and if there's any topics you want me to cover, just let me know in the comments below. All right, bye for now.